Hi everyone, it's Erin from TaroWorks, and thank you for joining the TaroWorks Field Mapping series. In part 3, we are going to create a new parent and child record at the same time in a single survey. If you haven't yet, please go back and watch the terms and overview video, as there's some information there that would be pertinent for this example. So the scenario we're working with today is that Aquacomb is exploring expanding into new regions. So for a specific group of field officers, they're going to send them out, and they've asked them to gather information on one potential well site in each region. So we want to create a survey that's going to create a new region record in our system as well as a new well site record, and we want those two records to be related. Just a reminder of the object structure. Well site is a child of region, so we're going to want to create a record in each of these tables and have their master detail relationship set between them. For this scenario, we're not yet using any data out of Salesforce. We're just going to be creating new data to insert into Salesforce. So we're not going to be using any of the first three tools and just be focusing on field mapping for this scenario. So let's dive into the example. We already have a survey created with all the required information for creating a new region record and a new well site record. That includes information like the region's name, the soil type at the well site, how many households are surrounding the well site, etc. So let's take a look at what the field mapping would look like for creating two new related records. We're dealing with two different objects, the region object and the well site object. For this scenario, we're going to discuss the three important levers of field mapping. The first was covered in the last example, which is the ID field. If the ID field is populated, then TaroWorks is going to do what's called an upsert into the Salesforce database. It will either update or insert the information that is mapped in the responses based on whether or not a record's found with that ID. For our scenario, we want to create new regions and also new well site records with the information that we get from the field officer. So we're going to want to leave the ID field blank. The isReference object checkmark box would indicate to the system that we're not touching any of the records in that object nor creating new. So we're going to leave that unchecked for this scenario. And the final lever of field mapping is a set relationship link. We can see that now that we have two related objects listed in our columns. When we set the relationship, this will essentially populate the reference for the parent on the child record without setting this relationship. As a result of the data that would come in from the job, the responses for the survey would create a new region and a new well site, but those two things would not be related. Then we just need to map our fields. And now the field mapping is complete. So I'm going to save this survey and publish it. And then I'm going to create the job to push that survey to the device. We're not drawing any data out of Salesforce for this exercise, so we're going to skip the drill and hierarchy section. We're going to click New under Tasks. Give the task a name, and select the survey that we just created. So we're going to save, and then we're going to publish our job, and then we're going to assign it just to our mobile user record so we can test it before rolling it out to our field team. Okay, now we're going to sync that job to our mobile device. We'll pretend we're a scout. We're heading out to a new region. We're in the northwest. And we'll enter the information about the well site. And sync that into the system. system. Now when we look in Salesforce, we have a new region and a new well site for that region. And that's it. In our next example, we'll start to use data out of Salesforce in our jobs, and we'll be creating many new child records for an existing parent record. Thanks for joining and have a great day.